What's going on, guys? Eric here and welcome to the channel. In this video I'll be going over Vvivid's new carbon fiber embossed heat transfer vinyl. I'll give you an up close look at the vinyl so you can see what the carbon fiber embossing looks like in the HTV surface itself. I'll go over how well or how easily this vinyl weeds once your machine has finished cutting the design that you want out of the graphic. Lastly, I'll press the vinyl onto a shirt so you can see how well it presses and some recommended settings that I used in order to apply this graphic to a t-shirt. At the end of the video, I'll let you know where you can get this vinyl and how much it'll cost. With that, let's start by taking an up-close look at the vinyl itself. Okay, so let's take a look at the vinyl before we get to cutting the vinyl and applying it to a shirt. You can see here's a roll already, got the V2 or the Vvivid tape still on it. You can see the carbon fiber patterning through the carrier sheet already. This comes with a carrier sheet already on it that you can press directly onto this carrier sheet if you feel like it without using a Teflon sheet or a parchment paper. Alright, so peel the tape off there. You can see that with Vvivid it comes with a plastic covering on the adhesive side to protect it while it's rolled up and then shipping. You'll have to definitely remove this before cutting and before applying it. And you can see the carbon fiber embossing pattern on the adhesive side as well. Alright, so this is what the vinyl looks like before you get to cutting it and to pressing it. So now we're going to see how well this cuts and weeds. So the first thing we'll have to do is have our design ready to cut out onto the vinyl itself. And so you can see I've got my image that I want to do already. Since this is HTV, I've already flipped the image horizontally so that it will cut inversed, if you will. That way when we press it, it'll be right side forward. So according to Vvivid, when I go to send here, I have heat transfer smooth settings on my auto blade for regular cut. Let me highlight the items, select regular cut here. The Vvivid's website says for blade settings for silhouette, blade 4 to 5, speed 7, force 7 to 9, and always test prior. So I did run a couple of tests, and for my particular machine I found that the blade depth of 4 with a force of 8, which is right between their force recommendations of 7 to 9, seemed to work well. I did drop the speed down to 5. This is a pretty simple design, so I could probably bump it up to 7 as they recommend as well. But I'm okay with the 5 because it's fine. It's not too fast, not too slow. It's right in the middle. Anyway, so once I've got that all set to go, you see my cameo is ready. I'm going to go ahead and hit send. And I've already got my cameo loaded with this on the mat. I'm using a cutting mat, and I've already got that loaded to the cutting mat. And because I already mirrored this, I'm going to hit send as is and let my machine do its thing. So my machine has finished cutting, and now it's time to weed. You see I still have it on my mat here. One thing I did notice kind of right away is it's a little harder to see the cut lines because of the carbon fiber embossing in this. You may be able to see it in the camera there a little bit, but compared to smooth vinyl, it's a little bit harder to see. So let's go ahead and see how this weeds out. I'm just going to weed it right on this, so it's a little bit easier. Then I can peel it off afterwards. This it keeps the vinyl more firm and flat, if you will, versus curling up on me while I'm trying to weed this. So I like to use a X-Acto knife since it has a sharp pointy tip, and then a blade if I do need to cut. So I'm trying to use my lights to give me a little bit of an angle here to see where an area I can pull out from. So I do know, for example, the center part of this Empire sign comes out. So I just poked in and kind of pulled it up a little bit. And once I get it started, then I can use my hand to pull it the rest of the way. As far as weeding goes, you can see that the settings that I used cut right through without any issues. You can actually see my little test triangles there. So it did cut through all the way, and it didn't cut through the carrier sheet. It scored the carrier sheet very so slightly, which is good, or which is fine. It's as long as it doesn't cut through it or you cut or damage it enough that you won't be able to, that when you weed it, it'll peel apart. As far as weeding goes, the way this feels, actually, it's pretty easy. Once I can find the cut lines that I need to peel to weed out, or in between, to make sure I don't do that. So just having a light source nearby that you can kind of hold the vinyl at an angle so you can see those lines where the areas you need to weed is going to be helpful in doing this. It feels a little bit more resistance than say Sizer, for example, but on the whole, so far this is pretty easy to weed out. So let me try to find, I know there's some small areas that need to be weeded out, so let me see if I can find some here. Again, using the light to try to help me. I know there's these little small vent areas in the helmet of this design here, and you can see just with my X-Acto knife, even these smaller, they're not super intricate, but they're definitely smaller. Pretty easy to get and weed out. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish weeding this out, and then I'll show you what the end result looks like. Alright guys, so this is the graphic that's been fully weeded out. It was fairly easy to do. Here's the image as it will be pressed down and put onto the shirt that I'm going to make with this. It was fairly easy to do. The carrier sheet, again, you can press down right onto this with your heat press. It is pretty sticky, which I did all the small areas first before pulling the big one, because as you're trying to weed this, it sticks to your palm, for example. But I like it a little bit sticky because it makes for when you place it onto your shirt, it doesn't move around on you when you're, say you line it up on a table and then have to bring it over to your heat press. Anyway, fairly easy to do. Because this is so sticky, it did have the bigger swaths here to have a little bit more resistance pulling it off. A little bit more than I'd say Sizer, but not hard at all. Very easy to do. On the whole, as far as weeding this out, I'd say this was easily on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the easiest, 1 being the hardest. This is probably about an 8. It would be my subjective opinion. So would I recommend it as far as cutting and weeding? Absolutely. It cut very well, as you can see, and it weeded out pretty easily. So let's get this graphic lined up on this t-shirt. You can see I've got a t-shirt already. It's just a basic Fruit of the Loom. It's 90% cotton, 10% poly. So I typically, in the past, I've just eyeballed placement of the graphic to me what looks good. I know that sometimes you can be dead on in measurements, but then your eyeballs tell you something different that's not quite right. If you want, you can use something like this, which I just ordered online, and you can, I'll put links in the description if you want to get something like this as well. Kind of helps you out a little bit. This, I found that if you put the top of your graphic, and if you know the center of your graphic like against that tends to put it in a nice area. So I will do something like this here, because that's roughly about the center of my graphic, and just lay it real lightly. Again, this is kind of a sticky carrier sheet, and so now I'm just going to eyeball it and take a look to see if it looks fine to me. If you want, you can measure sides, but it's kind of, unless you have it perfectly, the shirt perfectly distributed, it's going to be a little bit off. So just kind of eyeball it, and as long as it's within, you can see center to center, the center line to there from this side. And then if you check the other side, you can see the center line to here to there. It's about the same. I mean, it's maybe a little bit different, but again, that could be the difference in how this might has a little fold here or something like that. So to me, it looks pretty centered as far as height wise on the shirt. It's a couple inches down, about, I don't know, 3 inches down roughly, which is pretty good. You don't want it too close to the to the neck, and you don't want it too low where it's like basically on the lower part of the shirt or the belly. The shirt goes down a little bit further as well, as you can see here. Again, I've very, very lightly just put this on here. So what I like to do is I will kind of press it on, since this has a sticky or carrier paper. And once it's on, what I like to do is just, I will pick up the shirt and put it up against the wall or hold it up on me and look in the mirror and see if it looks about right. Or you can hang it up on a hanger and just take a look at it, see if it looks about right when it's upright. To me, this looks pretty good. And so the next step will be bringing it to the heat press and getting this on. Alright guys, you can see I've got this set up on my heat press here. I checked it real quick in between the table and here, just holding it up on myself and looking in the mirror, make sure it looked okay, and looked fine to me. I've got my temperature set to 320 degrees Fahrenheit and a timer right now set for 20 seconds. So I'll just add 5 seconds after that to make sure this will press down well. Vvivid on the website, and in talking to one of the representatives a while ago, this is a hot peel. So I will hot peel this once it's been done pressing. So I'll go ahead and put my heat press down. Alright, so it's been about 25 seconds. Going to pop this up. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and peel this carefully and slowly in case it did not press all the way. As far as peeling goes, this so far is peeling nice and smoothly. Almost like, actually, like Sizer's, peels off pretty nicely. There we go. Alright guys, so that peeled off without any issues on a hot peel. Everything looks to be pressed down. And so we'll take a look at this a little bit more up close. Alright guys, so I've let the t-shirt cool down a little bit now, and I've taken it off my heat press. Let's take a little closer look at how this looks here. So this is actually, in my opinion, really cool looking. You can see the carbon fiber embossed texture in there, and as you touch it actually has a smooth, but you can kind of feel a little bit of a texture in there. Try to get a little close up here. It's a pretty unique look, pretty cool, a little different. I've never seen carbon fiber embossed heat transfer vinyl. I've seen other kinds that are texture like your flock or your suede looking type. But this is a definitely unique one, pretty cool looking. Alright guys, so now that I've gone over the vinyl in depth, from taking an up close look at it to cutting and weeding and pressing it onto a shirt, what do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Love it? Hate it? Me personally, I think it's a really cool, unique kind of HTV. For me, finding a carbon fiber vinyl HTV in this case is really cool. I've used carbon fiber regular automotive vinyl to wrap cars and laptops and things like that with, but I've never seen it in HTV. I know in HTV they offer other patterns and colors and things like flock or suede kind of textured material, but nothing, I've never seen anything quite like this before. So tell me what you think. Drop some comments down below to let me know what you think about it, or if you've tried it and how it worked out for you. If you want to get some of this vinyl for yourself and for your use, you can check the links down below in the description. I'll leave a couple links down there for you to click on so you can get some for yourself. I do know that a 1 foot by 5 foot roll will cost you approximately $16 on Amazon, and again, I'll have links in the description below. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful and informative for you, and as far as cutting and weeding and pressing this particular vinyl may be instructive, and hopefully it was entertaining and value added for you. If you did like this video guys, please show it some love by giving a thumbs up, and also if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification button so you get notices whenever I post new content to the channel. I've got more projects like this and more videos like this on the way, and I'd love to share those with you. Guys, have a great day.